Well, welcome everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Clyde, one of the Dharma leaders here. Before we get started on the talk, and everybody on the Zoom coming in, that's great. I wanted to share with you the New York Times. I get a feed from the New York Times, and this weekend they had this thing called Best Advice. Like some of the best advice, this journalist, she asked people to send in things. What was some of the best advice you got in 2025? And there were 3 or 4 things in here that I thought kind of applied to us, so I'd share those with you. Or the ones that I thought, there was like 2 pages of this stuff. Don't think harder, breathe deeper. Most of us are surviving on shallow sips of air. That was from Los Angeles. This is from Maryland. Stop trying to calm the storm. Calm yourself. The storm will pass. That's our impermanence. This from Florida. We tend to forget that baby steps still move us forward. And in this day and age, we need to understand that. And this from California. Even in the hardest of times, you have the ability to whistle in the dark. Even in the hardest of times, you have the ability to whistle in the dark. And then there's a couple that I want to send to friends, but I'm trying to do right speech, and I'm not going to. But this one was like, from Washington, put away your phone whenever there's a human being in front of you. I was going to send that to people, but I didn't. And then this one that was really hit me was this. It was this lady from New York said, her jeweler said to this to her, he had cleaned a family heirloom that this lady had kept in a box for 50 years for fear of losing it. And the jeweler said, wear the ring. In other words, enjoy what you have. Use what you have. And I thought that was great. And then in one of the, I don't know if any of you use the Insight timer, but the other day there was one thing came across on Insight timer that said, the more grateful I am, the more beauty I see. The more grateful I am, the more beauty I see. And that leads me into what I'm going to be talking about tonight. This is the night of celebration, and I thought what better to do than do a gratitude celebration. So we're going to just define a little bit what gratitude is, and then some of the benefits from it, and how to develop a practice, and then we are going to do a meditation on gratitude for tonight. Because I think gratitude is probably one of the strongest, for me personally, it's one of the best things to change my perspective. If no matter what kind of mood or things aren't going right, anything, if I can remember to do gratitude, it changes it just like that. And it's one of the most useful things I have in my life. And I'm in good company. That great sage Willie Nelson said, when I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around. Neil Donald Walsh, I'm not sure who that is, said, the struggle ends when gratitude begins. Philip Moffitt, one of our teachers in our tradition, says, gratitude is one of the most powerful practices for living the Dharma in daily life, and the most easily cultivated, requiring the least sacrifice for what is gained in return. What did the Buddha say about it? The Blessed One said, now what is the level of a person of no integrity? A person of no integrity is ungrateful and unthankful. This ingratitude, this lack of thankfulness, is advocated by rude people. It is entirely on the level of people of no integrity. A person of integrity is grateful and thankful. This gratitude, this thankfulness is advocated by civil people, is entirely on the level of people of integrity. This is how the thankfulness and gratitude. most of us know what gratitude or what gratitude is, but I wanted to. There's been a lot of research on this, and if you go to Greater Good Berkeley and Positive Psychology, they've done a lot of scientific tests on this. And this Richard Emmons, I believe, he has written a good bit about it, and he has gratitude has two components to it. The first is an affirmation of goodness, the seeing the goodness in our life. We affirm that there are good things in the world, gifts, benefits we received. This doesn't mean that life is perfect. It doesn't ignore complaints, burdens, and hassles. But when we look at life as a whole, gratitude encourages us to identify some amount of good in our life. And I think we need that right now. We need to be able to see that, see some amount of good in our life. The second part of gratitude is figuring out where that goodness comes from. We recognize the sources of this goodness as being outside of ourselves. It doesn't stem from anything we necessarily did ourselves in which we might take pride. We can appreciate positive traits in ourselves, but true gratitude involves a humble dependency on others. We acknowledge that other people gave us many gifts, big and small, to help us achieve the goodness in our lives. I think when we look at that, when we're grateful, when we look at ourselves, these things came to me. I didn't really do anything. Most of the good things in my life really came to me. If I have good health, that's a hereditary. Now, I can do some things around that. I can exercise and eat well and do that. But our innate good health has really came to me. I'm not sure. I struggled with whether I wanted to say this or not, but one example that I do, and I'm not sure what I'm doing with it. I walk down to Ann Springs Close. I belong to it, and I take my dog down there and we walk. And I used to go, oh, this is great. I'm out in nature, I'm walking, I really appreciate this. And I go, I'm really grateful for all this, that I can do this. Then it dawned on me, well, this was Catawba Indian land at one time that were taken off. This was a plantation. There were probably enslaved people here at one time. And I'm not grateful, but I'm getting the benefit of all that. And I did nothing. So sometimes when we dig down deep in this gratitude, we see that we didn't do it ourselves, and it's also based on some other people, maybe other people suffering. You may have parents or grandparents that did things that suffered to get you what you have today. And we want to acknowledge all of that. So it's that idea of acknowledging the goodness in our life and say, where did this come from? And the research they've done on the benefits of gratitude is amazing. But as recently as September of this year, the neuroscience of gratitude and its effects on the brain. Now, there's an article, they listed all the parts of the brains that, number one, I can't pronounce, number two, I don't know what they are anyway. So I'm going to give this summary. Gratitude activates key regions of the brain and can lead to long-term positive changes in the brain, supporting mental health and resilience. So gratitude itself, the practice of gratitude can actually change, just like meditation can change the synapses in your brain. It affects they went through and said different parts of gratitude affects different parts of the brain, and long-term effects can change that, so it activates those more. So what are some of these mental health and resilient issues that it does? They've done lots of studies on this, and they found that people who practice gratitude consistently report some of these benefits. They're physical, psychological, and social. Stronger immune systems, less bothered by aches and pains, lower blood pressure, exercise more and take better care of their health, sleep longer and feel more refreshed when waking. That right there is enough for me to celebrate right there. That is right there. Psychological, higher levels of positive emotions, more alert, alive, and awake, more joy and pleasure, more optimism and happiness. And within that psychological part, there's a higher sense of self-worth also. We recognize what other people have given us, I've received this. Social, more helpful, more generous, and compassionate. And generosity and compassion are things that we study here all the time. I think it does, like I said, that example that I said about Indian Springs Close, it begins to open up your heart a little bit. I was given all this stuff. I can be more generous. If I'm grateful that I have these things in my life, it's also that kind of leads me toward a contentment. I have it. I can share it with other people. I have enough. I'm grateful for what I have. I can begin to share that with other people. If we can develop generosity is an antidote to greed, which is the big boogeyman in Buddhism. We want to try to get rid of greed. They also say that people are more forgiving, more outgoing, and feel less lonely and isolated. So these are just some of the benefits that they've been able to say that people that practice gratitude consistently. And Robert Evans, this guy, he says also that gratitude can help us through hard times. He says that that a grateful attitude is essential. In fact, it is precisely under crisis conditions when we have the most to gain by a grateful perspective on life. In the face of demoralization, gratitude has the power to energize. In the face of brokenness, gratitude has the power to heal. In the face of despair, gratitude has the power to bring hope. In other words, gratitude can help us with hard times. I think that's very relevant today. So those are some of the benefits of having a practice. How do we develop this practice? How do we develop an attitude of gratitude? This is New Year's Eve. We want to set resolutions or intentions, and we know intentions are very powerful forces in our practice. So we set our intention to be a more grateful person. So that's the first thing, set that intention. One of the things everybody mentions is keep a gratitude journal. This could be either weekly or daily, 3 to 4 things that you were really grateful for that week or that day. It's probably the most thing that most people recommend if you wanted to develop a gratitude practice. It gives you a sense of accountability. Like every day or every week, I'm going to write in this journal. So where I've got to write in this journal, I'm going to be grateful for something. Count your blessings on a daily basis, like in the morning or in the evening. This is the one I do more than anything else. I keep it really simple. If I had a good night's sleep, I wake up and I'll go, I'm grateful for a good night's sleep. I'm grateful for a warm bed. My heat went off the other night when we had that windstorm. You're sitting there in the dark and that getting colder, can't cook supper. You're grateful for heat, okay? But I keep it really simple. It's like I'm grateful that I have health, that I can get up out of bed. I'm grateful for clean water. I mean, think of all the people in the world that don't have clean water. So you can keep it, that's what I'm saying. You can think, it doesn't have to be a big thing that we're grateful for. There's so many things in our lives that we can be grateful for every day. But just pick 2 or 3. There might have been something that happened really well for you that day that you're really grateful for, and you want to be grateful for that. But think of all the small things. I wake up and go, I'm not hungry. I can be grateful for that. There's so many things that we can be grateful for. So keep it simple. But just remember them. That's why we can remember all the little things. They do that highly grateful people do think about death or loss. You begin to see you're taking too many things for granted. I lost my heat. I took it for granted. I miss it. We begin to see, if we think about death, well, I'm grateful for all that, or someone's death or my death, all the wonderful things I have now. Let me be grateful for those now. When you are expressing gratitude, the important thing is to be specific about what you're grateful for, particularly if you're talking with another person. You don't want to just say, you're a nice person, I'm grateful for you. You want to be specific. It was so nice when you sent me that note the other day, thanking me for something I did, or so nice for that gift you gave me. You want to be very specific about what you're grateful for. The more specific you are, that way you can, William Arthur Ward said, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So be very specific about what you want, say this person did something specific for me. And that also gives you more opportunities to practice gratitude, more things to practice gratitude about. And then the last thing, there's lots on this. This is a big subject. I'm just pulling out some of the things that resonate with me. The last one is kind of what we practice here is mindfulness. It's called savoring experience. Pausing, looking around you, and taking in and enjoying everything that's good in your current setting. Recognize the good and express gratitude for what you have. This is being mindful of what we have. And so it's not ignoring the bad things. There's a lot of bad things in our lives, a lot of struggles, a lot of things going on in the world. We're not ignoring that. We're just trying to cultivate this gratitude for the goodness. There are good things in our lives, and we want to recognize those and savor those, because that builds up this resilience for the bad times. It allows us to celebrate the present. So that's why. So you can set your intention, do a gratitude journal, the daily recital, morning or night, sometimes for to list your blessings. Think about death or loss. Be specific about what you're grateful for, and then this idea of savoring the experience, of being mindful of this moment, just stopping in this moment. We're going to be mindful. We can bring in the goodness at that point. So some things you can do, kind of develop a gratitude practice. And I thought it would be nice if we did that. We did a gratitude meditation tonight. That's kind of our celebration. This gratitude celebration for us to spend some time doing a meditation. So get comfortable. You don't have to be in your upright, rigid position for this meditation. It's going to be a guided meditation. Just kind of relax, get comfortable. Begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have cared for your own life. Now begin to acknowledge all that has supported you in this care. And I'm going to read this, and I'm going to repeat the last sentence in each one of these would be just the meditation piece, or some you could do at home yourself. The gift of life itself, the most precious gift. Someone gave you birth, someone fed you as an infant, changed your diaper, clothed you, bathed you, taught you to speak and to understand. I offer gratitude for this life I have been given. I offer gratitude for this life I have been given. Consider the health of your body. Offer gratitude for the health of your body. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. Feel grateful for your mind and intellect. Feel gratitude for the opportunities you've had in this life, education, travel, and work experience. I offer my gratitude for the talents and skills I have. I offer my gratitude for the talents and skills I have. Now consider your gratitude for the earth, for water, food, and the air that you breathe in every single day. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of this earth I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of this earth I have been given. Feel gratitude for the people and circumstances that led you to this moment here today. Offer gratitude to your parents and your grandparents. Consider the people and pets you know who enrich your life. Those who smile at you and cheer you on. Those family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and peers. Those ancestors who worked so you could live well. Those friends who support you when you need a shoulder or a hand. I offer my gratitude for the family and friends I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the family and friends I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. Now, simply choose the one thing that you feel most grateful for in this moment.